What are you doing here? Hey.
Hi. Well, I realized if I leave work right at 5 and I go 90 the whole way there, that I can make it to the Baskins down the street before they close.
Everything we thought was certain about Belly and Jeremiah's future might come crashing down in The Summer I Turned Pretty, Season 3, Episode 7. The trailer hints at the unthinkable. Jeremiah might finally break things off with Belly. After all the wedding planning, the smiles, and the promises, the cracks we saw in Episode 6 are now wide open, and in Episode 7, they might break completely. But the real question is, did Jeremiah walk away because he stopped loving Belly, or because he realized she still loves Conrad? Episode 7 is shaping up to be the most explosive chapter of the season, and it all comes down to Belly's torn heart. In Episode 6, we already saw her confusion bubbling to the surface. She couldn't even keep Jeremiah and Conrad straight when talking about something as simple as their childhood pet. That slip might have looked small, but it cut deeper than anything else. Jeremiah tried to brush it off, but inside you could feel the shift. For the first time, he wondered whether Belly's heart was truly his, or if he was just borrowing it until Conrad decided to claim it again. And now, with Belly and Conrad finally growing closer at the end of Episode 6, Jeremiah's worst fear might be confirmed. From the start, Jeremiah and Belly's relationship looked like a dream. They were young, in love, and building a future together. Talking about buying a house, planning their wedding, and proving to everyone that they could make it work. But love isn't just about plans. It's about trust. And trust is exactly what's beginning to crumble between them. Jeremiah wanted to believe that Belly chose him freely, not because Conrad pushed her away, but every time Conrad's name is mentioned, it twists like a knife in his chest. His jealousy isn't just insecurity anymore, it's the voice telling him that maybe Belly never fully let Conrad go. And now, in Episode 7, that voice becomes too loud to ignore. What makes this moment even more heartbreaking is how much Jeremiah has always given to Belly. He's the one who stayed when Conrad ran. He's the one who chose to love her without hesitation, without fear. He's the one who tried to build a life with her, even when the odds were stacked against them. But deep down, Jeremiah knows that no matter how much effort he puts in, he can't compete with what Belly feels when she's near Conrad. And the trailer makes it clear, Jeremiah has finally reached the point where he can't pretend anymore. The boy who once promised Belly forever might be ready to let her go. Episode 7 won't just be about Jeremiah's decision, it will be about Belly's reaction. Because for the first time, she won't be able to hide behind excuses or distractions. If Jeremiah really ends things, Belly will be forced to face the truth she's been running from since the very beginning. Who does she love more? The boy who gave her stability, or the boy who took her breath away? Belly's silence when Jeremiah asks hard questions in Episode 6, like whether she still thinks about Conrad, was already an answer in itself. And in Episode 7, Jeremiah might decide that silence is worse than a confession. But here's the twist that makes this episode so thrilling. Breaking up doesn't necessarily mean ending love. Jeremiah may break up with Belly not because he stopped caring, but because he finally understands that love isn't enough if it isn't returned completely. He deserves someone who chooses him wholeheartedly, without hesitation, without comparison. And even though letting go of Belly would shatter him, staying in a love where he feels second best would destroy him even more. That's the tragic truth of Episode 7. Jeremiah might break up, not to punish Belly, but to free himself from a love that's slowly breaking him apart. The trailer hints that this emotional explosion won't happen quietly. We'll see Jeremiah confronting Belly with questions she's not ready to answer. Questions like, do you still love him? Or, am I enough for you? The very questions Belly has been avoiding since she agreed to marry him. And this time, there won't be any wedding planning, any distractions, or any bridal showers to hide behind. It will just be Jeremiah, Belly, and the truth they can no longer escape. That's why Episode 7 feels less like a continuation of their love story and more like the beginning of its unraveling. And yet, the most suspenseful part isn't even Jeremiah's potential breakup. It's what comes after. Because if Jeremiah walks away, where does that leave Belly? Will she finally admit to herself that her heart still belongs to Conrad? Or will she fight to prove Jeremiah wrong, to convince him that she really did choose him for the right reasons? Episode 7 is setting up to be the breaking point, But whether it breaks them apart for good or pulls them back together in a stronger way is what makes this chapter so unpredictable. One thing is certain, the boy who was always sunshine, the one who loved Belly without conditions, is no longer willing to live in Conrad's shadow. And the Belly who thought she could keep both brothers close without losing either is about to learn the hardest lesson of all. Sometimes love means letting go, and sometimes it means admitting who you've loved all along. Episode 7 will make Belly answer that question, whether she's ready or not. If Episode 7 truly delivers the breakup we're all fearing, then it's not just Belly and Jeremiah's romance on the line, it's the foundation of Cousins Beach itself. Because let's face it, this isn't just about a couple splitting up. This is about years of history, unspoken feelings, and a love triangle that has haunted every single summer since Belly first realized she was in love with the Fisher boys. And the weight of all that history is going to crush down on them in this episode. Jeremiah has always lived in contrast to Conrad. Where Conrad was quiet, mysterious, and often distant, Jeremiah was open, warm, and constant. Belly chose Jeremiah because he made her feel safe, like she could finally step into a future without pain or uncertainty. But as much as she tried to build that life with him, the ghost of Conrad never really left. We saw it in her hesitation, in the way she compared their childhood memories, and in the way her eyes softened whenever Conrad was near. Now Jeremiah is finally noticing the very things Belly tried so hard to hide. The tension between the brothers is only going to get sharper because Jeremiah isn't just jealous anymore, he's starting to feel betrayed. To him, Conrad already had his chance, and when Conrad stepped back, Jeremiah thought it meant Belly was free to love him without doubts. But Episode 7 makes it clear. Conrad didn't let her go, not in his heart, and Belly didn't let him go either. That realization will be Jeremiah's breaking point. Imagine what it feels like to love someone so completely, to plan your life with them, only to realize that deep down, they might still belong to someone else. That's the storm Jeremiah is walking into, and it's no longer one he can smile through. We've seen Jeremiah jealous before, but this time it's different. This time his jealousy comes with anger, and that anger may push him to say words he can't take back. For Belly, Episode 7 will be her most emotionally chaotic moment yet. She has spent the entire season trying to convince herself she's happy with Jeremiah. She tried to ignore her heart by focusing on wedding planning, house hunting, and keeping busy with details. But the moment she let her guard down around Conrad, everything came rushing back. That look they shared at the end of Episode 6 wasn't just nostalgia. It was the raw reminder that her first love never truly left her. Belly is standing at the edge of two lives, one with Jeremiah, full of certainty but maybe missing passion, and one with Conrad, full of risk but impossible to ignore. Episode 7 is when those two lives collide, and Belly can no longer pretend that she isn't torn apart inside. But what makes this episode so thrilling is that it isn't just Belly and Jeremiah caught in the fire. Conrad is right there too. Conrad has spent the season holding back, always sacrificing his happiness for Belly's. He convinced himself that letting her go was the right thing to do, that her joy with Jeremiah was more important than his own feelings. But the closer we get to Episode 7, the harder it is for Conrad to keep those feelings hidden. Laurel's words in Episode 6, asking him when he'll finally let himself be happy, still echo in his mind. And when Jeremiah starts unraveling, Conrad will be forced to decide. Does he finally step in and fight for Belly, or does he stay silent again and risk losing her forever? That's where the suspense lies. If Jeremiah really breaks things off, it won't just be Belly's heart that shatters. It will push Conrad into the center of the story again. And this time, he won't be able to hide in the background. Episode 7 could be the moment Conrad confesses the truth, the moment Belly has to face her feelings head on. But here's the catch. If Conrad confesses right after Jeremiah breaks up with Belly, will it feel like a rescue? Or will it feel like a betrayal? Will Belly see it as love, or is Conrad swooping in during her weakest moment? That's the emotional complexity that makes Episode 7 so gripping. And let's not forget the supporting characters who are caught in the ripple effect of this love triangle. Taylor, Belly's closest friend, is going to have her own say in all of this. She has always been quick to remind Belly of her patterns, quick to call her out when she's confused. But Taylor herself is hurting this season, still reeling from Steven's indifference and Denise's presence in his life. For the first time, Taylor might not tell Belly to move on from Conrad. Instead, she might tell her to admit the truth. That shift in Taylor's advice will carry so much weight because Belly always leans on her when she doesn't know what to do. And if Taylor encourages her to follow her heart, even if it leads back to Conrad, it could be the final push that changes everything. Jeremiah's decision will also affect Laurel, who has stood silently by, watching her daughter prepare for a wedding she may not even believe in. Laurel's relationship with Conrad in episode 6 showed us that she sees through the chaos, that she knows Conrad's love for Belly runs deeper than anything else. When Jeremiah and Belly's engagement starts to crack, Laurel may step in, not to fix it, but to guide Belly toward honesty. Because if there's one thing Laurel has always wanted for her daughter, it's a love that's real, not a love that's convenient. And episode 7 might finally force Belly to ask herself, is she marrying Jeremiah because she truly loves him, or because she was afraid to wait for Conrad? The stakes have never been higher, and the suspense has never been sharper. Episode 7 is more than just a turning point. It's the moment that decides the future of every relationship in this story. Will Jeremiah walk away to save himself from a love that's tearing him apart? Will Conrad finally step forward and claim the girl he's loved all along? Or will Belly, caught between two brothers and two versions of her future, finally admit what her heart has been screaming since the very first summer? No matter how it plays out, episode 7 will leave scars that can't be hidden, choices that can't be undone, and a story that will never be the same again. Episode 7 isn't just about heartbreak and confusion, it's about confrontation, raw emotions, and the moments that will leave viewers on the edge of their seats. The trailer already hints at tension bubbling over, and it's clear that Jeremiah won't be able to stay silent any longer. All those small doubts that started creeping in during episode 6, Belly's hesitation, her lingering thoughts of Conrad, the little slip-ups she made when discussing the past, are about to explode in full force. For Jeremiah, this is the culmination of every moment he's tried to ignore, every pang of jealousy he's tried to hide, and every sleepless night he's spent wondering if the girl he loves is truly his. He has loved Belly with everything he has, and now he realizes that love may not be enough. The breakup hinted at in the trailer isn't impulsive. It's the result of weeks of suppressed feelings, of mounting doubts, and the painful realization that his heart might be fighting a losing battle. And for Belly, episode 7 is the ultimate emotional roller coaster. Up until now, she has been trying to balance her love for Jeremiah with the undeniable pull she still feels toward Conrad. Episode 6 showed us glimpses of her internal struggle, the confusion, the guilt, and the quiet longing that she couldn't fully express. Now in episode 7, there's no hiding. She'll have to confront the truth she's been avoiding for so long. Every glance at Conrad, every thought of what could have been, every hesitation when Jeremiah asks her to commit fully will come to the surface. The trailer suggests that there will be moments of awkward silence, sharp questions, and emotional outbursts, each one testing the bonds she's tried so hard to maintain. Belly's reaction to Jeremiah's confrontation will define not only her relationship with him, but also how she faces her own feelings for Conrad. The stakes are even higher because episode 7 also highlights the ripple effect of this triangle on everyone around them. Conrad, who has always been patient, will feel the pressure more than ever. The trailer hints at scenes where Conrad is forced to make choices, whether to intervene, step back, or finally speak his heart. This isn't just about waiting anymore, it's about action, and Conrad knows that hesitating too long could mean losing Belly forever. The tension is almost unbearable because viewers have seen how much he loves her, how much he sacrifices to ensure her happiness, and how much he struggles with his own feelings. Episode 7 could finally be the turning point where Conrad either steps into the light or retreats into the background once more, leaving Belly to make decisions that will change her life forever. Meanwhile, Jeremiah's family and friends may also play a role in escalating the tension. The trailer teases conversations filled with pointed advice, subtle warnings, and emotional confessions. Everyone who cares about him will want him to be happy, but happiness is complicated when love is tangled, when hearts are divided, and when timing isn't on your side. Episode 7 will likely explore these dynamics in depth, showing how relationships outside of the love triangle are affected by the mounting tension. It's not just about Jeremiah, Belly, or Conrad. It's about the entire ecosystem of connections at Cousins Beach, where one decision can create waves that reach everyone. Another suspenseful layer in episode 7 is the idea of timing. Belly has always struggled with timing in her relationships, falling for Conrad too soon, choosing Jeremiah when she wasn't ready, and constantly being pulled between what she feels and what she thinks she should do. The trailer suggests that episode 7 will put timing to the ultimate test. Will Jeremiah break up at the moment that forces Belly to confront Conrad? Or will circumstances delay the inevitable, keeping viewers guessing until the emotional crescendo hits? This tension between timing and choice is what makes episode 7 so compelling. Every glance, every pause, every hesitant word matters, because it could tip the balance of love and heartbreak. But what truly sets this episode apart is how it will explore the vulnerability of these characters. Episode 6 hinted at cracks beneath the surface, moments where Belly looked lost, Jeremiah looked frustrated, and Conrad looked pained. Episode 7 takes those cracks and turns them into a storm. Viewers will witness confessions, misunderstandings, and moments of raw honesty that are both heart-wrenching and thrilling. It's the kind of episode that will make fans gasp, sigh, and maybe even shed a few tears. Because it isn't just about a love triangle. It's about the human experience of longing, regret, and the courage it takes to face your feelings head-on. Finally, episode 7 promises to be unpredictable. Will Jeremiah's breakup be final, or will it leave a door open for reconciliation? Will Belly finally admit her true feelings for Conrad, or will she cling to the comfort of familiarity with Jeremiah? And how will Conrad respond when he sees the fallout of all these emotions? The trailer sets up a storm of possibilities, each more suspenseful than the last. Episode 7 isn't just the middle of the season. It's the emotional pivot point where everything changes, where every character is forced to confront the truths they've been hiding, and where love is tested in ways that could leave lasting consequences for everyone at Cousins Beach. Episode 7 is shaping up to be a turning point, not only for Belly and Jeremiah, but also for the entire dynamic of Cousins Beach. The trailer hints at heartbreak, confusion, and emotional confrontations that will leave everyone questioning the choices they've made. Jeremiah's potential breakup with Belly isn't just about ending a relationship, it's about a collision of emotions that have been building all season. Every moment of hesitation, every glance at Conrad, and every unspoken thought between Belly and Jeremiah has been leading to this. Episode 7 is the moment where all those small cracks widen, where the tension becomes undeniable, and where no one can pretend that everything is fine anymore. It's the perfect storm of love, jealousy, and the consequences of ignoring the heart's true desires. The emotional stakes are higher than ever because Belly will be forced to face the truth she's been avoiding. In episode 6, we saw her trying to balance wedding preparations with her lingering feelings for Conrad. She smiled, she planned, and she even tried to convince herself that Jeremiah was the right choice. But deep down, every thought of Conrad, every shared moment from the past, has kept her heart divided. Episode 7 won't allow her to hide behind plans, parties, or distractions. The trailer suggests that she will be confronted by Jeremiah directly, and the questions he asks will cut straight to the core. Do you still love him? Am I really enough for you? Can we move forward together? These aren't easy questions, and Belly's hesitation will be both heartbreaking and relatable. Viewers will feel every pang of her internal struggle, every wave of guilt, and every moment of longing she can't suppress. Jeremiah's heartbreak will be just as intense. He has loved Belly openly and completely, but episode 7 may be the first time he fully realizes that love alone isn't enough. All the effort, all the planning, and all the devotion can't compete with the lingering presence of Conrad. The trailer hints at moments where Jeremiah's frustration and sorrow collide, leaving him vulnerable and raw. For viewers, this is the most compelling part of episode 7, the idea that even the most devoted love can reach a breaking point when trust and certainty are gone. Jeremiah's potential breakup isn't just a dramatic plot twist, it's an emotional earthquake that reshapes the entire season. Conrad's role in episode 7 is just as critical. He has spent the season holding back, sacrificing his happiness to protect Belly's peace of mind. But the closer we get to this episode, the harder it becomes for him to remain on the sidelines. The trailer suggests that Conrad will be forced into moments where he has to confront his feelings openly, possibly for the first time in front of both Belly and Jeremiah. Will he confess, or will he step back once again? The suspense lies in his choice, because Conrad's actions will define the next chapter of this love triangle. His every move will be scrutinized by viewers, as they wait to see if he finally acts on the feelings he's been hiding since the very first summer. The supporting characters will add another layer of tension. Taylor, who has always been Belly's confidant, is likely to influence the decisions that unfold in episode 7. Her own heartbreak and experiences give her a unique perspective, and she may finally tell Belly what she needs to hear rather than what she wants to hear. Other friends and family members will weigh in, intentionally or not, adding pressure, creating misunderstandings, and further complicating the situation. This isn't just a love story, it's a web of relationships, emotions, and unspoken truths, all colliding in one explosive episode. Episode 7 also promises moments of intense reflection. Belly may look back on her feelings for Conrad and recognize that what she's experiencing isn't simply nostalgia. It's genuine, undeniable love. Jeremiah may reflect on his own feelings, realizing that letting go might be the only way to protect himself from deeper pain. And Conrad may question how long he can continue to suppress his own desires. These reflections, combined with the confrontations and confessions teased in the trailer, will make episode 7 a deeply immersive emotional journey for viewers. The suspense is amplified by the fact that this episode is not just about answers, it's about questions that may never be fully resolved. Will Jeremiah's breakup be permanent? Will Belly finally acknowledge her feelings for Conrad? Or will fear and guilt hold her back? Will Conrad act in time? Or will he miss his chance once again? Episode 7 sets the stage for every possibility, making viewers hang on every line, every look, and every hesitation. This tension keeps the audience engaged, invested, and emotionally connected, making it one of the most thrilling episodes of the season so far. Ultimately, episode 7 is about choices, the hard, painful, and sometimes messy choices that define relationships. It's about realizing that love is complicated, timing is everything, and honesty is both liberating and terrifying. The trailer makes it clear that this is not a simple story of heartbreak. It's a story of growth, self-awareness, and the courage to face what's really in your heart. By the end of this episode, no character will be the same, and viewers will be left eagerly anticipating how these choices will shape the rest of the season. Episode 7 will undoubtedly be the turning point of the season, the moment where all the tension, misunderstandings, and hidden emotions collide. If Jeremiah really breaks up with Belly, it won't just be a heartbreak. It will set off a chain reaction that affects every character and every relationship at Cousins Beach. We've seen the trailer, and the hints of emotional confrontations are impossible to ignore. Jeremiah confronting Belly, the questions he's been holding back finally spilling out, and the lingering presence of Conrad create a perfect storm of suspense. Every word, every hesitation, every glance will carry weight, because episode 7 isn't about small details. It's about life-changing decisions and the consequences that come with them. For Belly, this episode is a test of honesty and courage. She has spent the season trying to balance her love for Jeremiah with her feelings for Conrad, trying to convince herself that she could choose the safe, predictable path while still keeping her heart intact. But episode 7 will strip away the distractions. There won't be wedding planning, house hunting, or friendly advice to hide behind. Every interaction with Jeremiah and Conrad will be raw, direct, and emotionally charged. Belly will have to confront her true feelings, acknowledge the pull Conrad has on her heart, and decide whether she can move forward with Jeremiah without lying to herself, or whether she will finally admit that her first love never really left her. The trailer suggests that these moments will be intense, filled with hesitation, questions, and the kind of emotional vulnerability that leaves viewers holding their breath. Jeremiah, on the other hand, faces a heartbreak that's both inevitable and devastating. All season, he's loved Belly openly, unconditionally, and without hesitation. But love isn't just about devotion. It's about trust, certainty, and feeling like your heart is fully returned. Episode 7 puts him in a position where he can no longer ignore the cracks in their relationship. Every moment Belly spent thinking of Conrad, every small sign of hesitation, and every unspoken emotion adds up. Jeremiah's potential breakup is not impulsive. It's the culmination of all those doubts, all those quiet nights, and all those moments where he felt second best. It's a heartbreaking but realistic evolution of his character, and the trailer teases the emotional depth we can expect as he finally voices the questions that have been simmering all season. Do you still love him? Am I enough for you? Can we truly move forward together? These are questions that cannot be ignored, and episode 7 forces both him and Belly to confront them head-on. Conrad's role in this episode is equally crucial, and the suspense surrounding his choices keeps viewers on edge. He has always been patient, sacrificing his happiness for Belly's peace of mind, but episode 7 may push him to his limits. The trailer hints at moments where Conrad is faced with decisions he can no longer postpone, whether to confess his feelings outright, to step back, or to take some action that could change the course of everyone's lives. The tension here is palpable because Conrad's love for Belly has always been deep and selfless, but this season has proven that restraint can only go so far. Episode 7 might finally force him to act, and his choices will not only affect his relationship with Belly, but also the dynamics between the three central characters. Every word he says, every pause, and every look could tip the balance between heartbreak and reconciliation. Supporting characters add yet another layer of suspense and emotional complexity. Taylor, always Belly's confidant, is likely to push her toward honesty rather than comfort, urging her to confront her feelings for Conrad. Friends and family may unintentionally exacerbate the tension, offering advice, raising concerns, or simply witnessing moments that leave hearts exposed. The ripple effect of one breakup could touch every relationship, turning episode 7 into a pivotal chapter where every interaction is heightened, every glance loaded with meaning, and every decision carries consequences that may last well beyond this episode.